All right. So no matter what I show you today, no matter how great it is, you're always going to be in control of the exercise. All right. You're the one that's going to be pushing the buttons when the time comes. So I got to make sure that you know what you're doing. You have the confidence to do it correctly so that when the time comes, you could take advantage of it, put a couple of shekels in your pocket. I think your timing is good. Okay, because why? Well, there's a lot going on right now. All right, not just in the world, but as it relates to the forex market. Last week, Wednesday, Article 50 passed in Britain. What did that do? That cleared the way for the Great British Pound. We've seen a heck of a pop in the Great British Pound, and that is actually just the beginning of a much larger move. Okay, and when we're talking about large moves in this market, we'll always talk about them right in terms of pips. Now that's a word you're going to hear quite a bit. You're going to see several charts. You're going to see a lot of different things coming at you very quickly. I'm going to talk about what's coming up on Friday at 8:30 in the morning, non-farm payrolls. All right, what is that? That's an opportunity to make money, and we know the market's going to move that day. Write that down as a matter of fact. All right, Friday morning at 8:30. All right, we're going to announce the payroll number here in the US. That's going to affect the dollar. That's going to affect a bunch of the currencies that we trade, and it's going to affect it right there at that minute. So one of the fun parts about the Forex is they tell us when the darn thing's going to move. All we've got to do is be poised and positioned ahead of time to take advantage of it. So we're going to talk about how that all works today. All right, that's me. That's my smiling face. I'm going to be your host. I'm Joe Cavallaro. Just so you know. All right, I've been trading markets, gang, since I graduated from college back in 1994. Okay, I've traded them all. I've been licensed in all of them: stock, options, commodities, futures, and Forex. All right, I've been a principal for a couple of firms. I've traded the big accounts for those firms, and I've managed some trading desks. Now, I think that's important to you for a couple of reasons. The first one is really right there at the top. I know the difference between the markets. All right, you're trying to find the one that gives you the best shot at making some money. All right, you can make money at all the markets. I don't think that's a secret. I think that just makes sense. If somebody said to you, you can make money in the stock market, well, that's true. Okay, so why do we want to talk about the Forex instead of any of these others? It's because of those advantages I was talking about. And when you see what those advantages are and how you can leverage them, you're going to say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I probably should be at least adding that to my arsenal. Okay, and the other thing is this, having managed trading desks, my job was pretty simple. All right, every day that I walked into the office, my job was to make sure that every one of the traders on the desk was a profitable trader. Okay, that they had the tools and the strategies and the formulas and the downside protection. They could put it all together so that when their profit statement came out, right at the end of the week or the end of the month, it had some of that green on it. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to act as if you just sat down on my trading desk, and I'm going to make sure, right, that you have what, when it comes to this Forex market, the tools and the strategies and the downside protection, and you can put this all together to turn this into a profitable exercise for yourself. Okay, and we're going to go quickly because they give me a limited amount of time here, but I'm going to turn you into a trader. Okay, that's what I'm going to do here today. All right, you're going to know by the time we're done, right, flat out more about making money in the Forex market than 99% of the people on the planet. All right, and we'll go live in the market because I think that's the best way to learn. Anybody can give you some theory, right, and tell you different things. I'd rather show them to you. All right, I'd rather go live in the market so you can see stuff happening in real time and know exactly what it is that you're going to be doing, all right, when you trade. All right, I'll show you how to get in, how to get out. All right, I'll show you what the opportunity is. And you know what? If it makes sense to you at the end, give yourself a shot at it. That's really what this is going to be about. So yes, I'm going to teach you a formula. I want you to write down that word, because a lot of people think that success in the market is some fantasy, right? Or it's some big secret, or they say, come to the webinar, right? Learn the secret of trading. That's all nonsense as far as I'm concerned. I'm too old for that, right? The secret. I know that trading is about a formula, all right? A series of steps. All right, it's repeatable things that you're going to do over and over and over again that are going to keep on bringing you success. I'm going to show you a formula for trading this market today. That's going to be your strongest takeaway. So when I start going through that, you just need to listen extra carefully. All right, I'll show it to you in real time using an awesome piece of software. And what am I going to do? I'm going to get you prepared to trade this market. All right, you got to be in it to win it. That's what they say. You can't learn and then not do, or else it's just an academic exercise. Okay, so I've got to get you to the point where you're comfortable enough to push the button a couple of times. All right, you're not going to learn everything today. All right, it'd be impossible for me to teach you everything, but I don't have to. I just need to get to the point where you're comfortable enough to get started. And here's the thing, no matter what I show you, This is actually the best part. You're going to be able to take advantage of it, all right, risk-free to you financially. All right, I'm coming to you from the Market Traders Institute. Some of you, I'm sure, have heard of our group, right? Some of you are probably members of our group already. Okay, fact of the matter is we have been doing this one thing for the last 23 years, teaching people how to trade the forex market, showing them this formula. More than 30,000 people like you, right, who want to trade from home, right, want to trade from their kitchen table, they've already come through the program and learned the formula. All right, we're successful because the formula works. That's just the best way to say it. We've been on all the channels, right? CNN and Fox Business. We've been in Inc. magazine a couple of years in a row. They talk about our group, right? Same time they talk about Microsoft. Okay, why? Because the formula gets results. I mean, I like to come down to the bottom line because that's really where the rubber meets the road. We measure results in the market in dollars, don't we? Right? And the fact of the matter is, all right, when you see that kind of result, you're just going to be excited enough to tell a couple of your friends. All right, results always get positive attention. All right, results are the name of the game. In fact, we showed our results to the Shark Tank people. All right, I don't know if you're familiar with this TV show. All right, the Shark Tank is a show where in the States, right, the multimillionaires get together, they hear different business ideas, and then they make a decision on if they want to get involved. Well, the guy on the left is Kevin Harrington, all right, that is a shark. And not only has he seen exactly what I'm going to show you here today, but he actually came in here. All right, he came in here working with our CEO, right? That's him in the bottom right corner, Jared Martinez. That's the chief. Okay, fact of the matter is he came in here and said, show me the results you're getting for your clients. And we let him pour over everything. Long story short, he said, I'm getting involved. All right, we've partnered with Kevin Harrington, right, the Shark Tank people, because of the results we're able to deliver. So now it's time for me to deliver some for you with that as a preliminary. Now that we're all here, all right, let's just kind of dive right into it. Because what did I say? I said this market is going to give you, the trader, all right, every available advantage. What do I mean by that? Well, here's 4 advantages that you're going to be able to leverage for yourself: liquidity, flexibility, size, and simplicity. Please write those down so I can explain exactly what it is that you're going to get involved in here. All right, liquidity. What does that mean? That means you as the trader have the ability to move into and out of the market freely. And in this market, listen, it's the most liquid market in the world. There's always a buyer, there's always a seller. Okay, the market itself is open 24 hours a day, and when it comes time for you to trade, you can move into and out of this market anytime you want in 1 second or less. Now, why is that important to you? Because, put it in bold letters on your paper, that lowers your risk. That lowers your risk. Think about it. When it comes time to get into the market, when there's an opportunity, if you can grab onto it in 1 second or less, then you don't miss the opportunity. All right. On the flip side of that, probably more important, when you want to get out of the market or you have to get out of the market, right? You can do that in 1 second or less. Well, why would you want to get out of the market? Well, to protect a profit, right? Why would you have to get out of the market? To protect your downside, right? And if you can do that in 1 second or less, that lowers your risk. But what about flexibility? Now let's talk about that. You heard me say just a second ago, all right, this market is open 24 hours a day, which means what to you? Well, it's flexible. You're not going to have to turn your life upside down to participate in this market because it's always open. All right, in the stock market, think about it. U.S. stock market opens at 9:30, closes at 4. So if you want to participate in that market, you have to adjust your schedule to those hours. And for some of you, that might be an easy thing to do, but it isn't for everybody. But this market, right, write this down. It opens Sunday at 5 o'clock, okay? And it's open round the clock until Friday at 5 o'clock. Now you get Saturday off, okay? But any other time, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what your activities are, no matter what your family obligations are and so forth, when it comes time for you to sit down and do some trading, okay, when it comes time for you to crack open your laptop at your kitchen table, the beauty of the Forex market is it's open. It's there waiting for you, okay? And that's one of the main reasons a lot of people come to this market. I like it because of the size. All right, this is the biggest market in the world, whether you know it or not. This is a $5 trillion a day market. It's bigger than all the other markets of the world put together. Okay, this is what I call the big pile of money. Right? Everybody's always asking, where's that big pile of money? If I could only find it. Well, you found it. Okay, this is the currency market. This is all the money in the world. Okay, you found the big pile. So now what do you have to do as a trader? You got to reach your hand into that big pile on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis and pull out a handful. All right, and start making your own pile. The beauty of this market is it's not going to be hard for me to teach it to you. Okay, I don't have to go through all the different companies you'd have to learn if you're going to be a stock trader, right? You got to track them all and so forth, right? No. In this market, if you know your major currencies, you're right there. All right, all I've got to do is add a little bit of information to this, and I'll turn you into a forex trader. And I'm telling you, it's going to take less than an hour. Okay, if you know your major currencies, you're off to a good start. Now, if you don't know them by heart, just go ahead and jot them down. All right, they're up here on the screen. And the fact of the matter is, this is what you're going to be trading as a currency trader: the dollar, the Canadian, the euro, the pound, the yen, the franc, the Aussie, and the Kiwi. All right, write those down. These are the major currencies of the world. You want to be a currency trader, this is what you're going to be trading. All right, keep going right into it. Every time you see a currency, all right, you're always going to see it followed by another currency, because currencies trade in what we call pairs. All right, one currency trades against the other, and anytime you see that, right, it's going to be followed by a number called the exchange rate. Now, I think everybody here is probably familiar with exchange rates. Okay, right? You've been traveling, you've been to the bank, you've been to the airport, you've seen the currency exchange booth, right, with the person sitting behind it. What do you know when you walk up to that booth and you see this information? Right, you know immediately what it means. It means you can exchange money at this rate. You can hand over €1 and they'll hand you back about $1.06 US. Now, if you know that, you're very close. All you have to know that is, as a trader, what we're doing is we're trading exchange rates for profit. That's it. As a currency trader, you're going to be trading exchange rates for profit. And whether they go up or they go down, all right, you can make money on this in either direction. Now follow me on this, because most people understand currency rates, right? But they deal with them in dollars and cents, right? I give you €1, you give me back $1.06 US, we're good. But traders are going to think of this just a little different. Traders always look a little further to the right, to these last two decimal places. Now, what are those called? You heard me use the term before. Those are called the pips. You got to write that down. All right, PIP stands for price interest point. It's tiny little moves in the exchange rate, okay, that traders are looking to capture, right? We're looking to capture as many pips as possible. Are you with me on that? Because exchange rates do not move dollars at a time. They do not move cents at a time. Exchange rates move up and down pips at a time. So we're going to look to capture those pips. Let me just give you an example of how it works. This should be real simple for you. All right, I got my little seesaw here, and I've got a currency pair on it, the euro and the US dollar. Let's say the exchange rate is $1.0625. Okay, now during the course of the day, right, you might be watching CNBC and here we've got a strong euro, right, or we've got a weak dollar. In either case, what's going to happen is this: that's going to move my seesaw, that's going to move my exchange rate. In this case, it'll move it higher. So if it goes from, like it is here, 106.25 up to 106.95, that is a difference of 70 pips. Do you see that? There they are at the third and the fourth decimal place. All right, that's where the pips are. So now you know where to find them. So how do you capture them? It's pretty simple. In your trading account, you'll do what traders do. All right, same thing. You'll buy low, you'll sell high. Right, you follow your formula, you protect your downside, you do what traders do, right, and you capture those pips. This is a repeatable exercise. Now, having said that, okay, you're going to capture a lot of pips, and that's fine, all right, but you can't pay your bills with pips. What do I mean? Well, if you went to the bank to make your house payment and you said to the banker, got a bunch of pips here, let's take care of that, right, your banker would look at you funny. Okay, so you got to turn the pips into dollars if this is going to have any meaning. Well, that is where you come in. Okay, now listen carefully, because this is where the money is. You got to turn the pips into dollars. That's where you come in, because you're going to be making a lot of decisions when it comes to trading. Here's your first decision. All right, you're going to make trades based on how confident you are. All right, how confident you are is going to determine two things. Number one, how much money you put into your trade. Okay, number two, how much profit you take out of it. All right, now somebody just said, well, how much money do I need to start trading? All right, you got a few options. All right, when you trade currencies, write this down. You could trade them in what's called micro lots, mini lots, or standard lots. Okay, micro, mini, and standard. Now, if you trade with the micro lot, what you are looking at is a $20 trade. Okay, a $20 investment. All right, Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money, $20. What can I do with that? Well, in the stock market or any other market, not much, right? In stock market with $20, what can you do? You buy one share of something, okay? But in this market, that allows you to trade micro lots of currency. And right there, that is one of the most beautiful things about the forex market is it does not ever require a lot of capital for you to start trading. All right, you start small, you build up your account over time. All right, and I know everyone here, right, has more than $20. Listen, I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence. Okay, I know you got more than $20. Some of you got 20,000. All right, some of you in your retirement account you got 200,000. Good, leave it there. Okay, you don't need it here. Fact of the matter is, all right, you're going to start small probably because that's the right thing to do anyway, okay? You always start with a small amount to make sure you know what you're doing, to make sure your formula works, to make sure your technique is good before you go risking larger amounts. And what's just going to happen naturally is when you see that your formula works, that's when you're going to be able to step it out a little bit, but you'll be able to do it confidently, all right? At which point you'll trade mini lots. Now, how much do you need for that? Just $200. See, that's still not a very large amount, all right? But the one I want you to circle on your paper is the one at the bottom. All right, I want you to circle standard lots because this is the point you need to get to as quickly as possible. All right, you got to get to the point where you're confident enough to trade standard lots of currency. Now, how much money do you need for that? Just $2,000. So I don't know where you fit on this little grid. All right, you're probably trying to figure that out right now for yourself. But what do you notice? None of those numbers is very big. And as a matter of fact, here's what I'm going to tell you. All right, if you've got $2,000 in trading capital, I'm here to tell you that in this market, that is all you will probably ever need, okay? Now, what does it mean in terms of the takedown? What does it mean in terms of the money in your pocket? Okay, let's talk about that for a minute, all right? That's where the pips come in, all right? When you trade micro lots, each of those pips is worth 10 cents, right? That, yes, I am going fast, I have to, all right? Only got an hour to turn you into a trader, so keep your pencil moving, all right? The pips are worth 10 cents, okay, when you're trading micro lots. Now, let's put that into perspective. On that trade we just did on the euro, okay, that was a 70 pip profit, right? Well, 70 pips times 10 cents would be what? $7, okay, on a $20 investment, which is what? That's 35%. Do you see that? That's a nice percentage, okay? It's not a lot of money, okay? $7, what can you do with that? You buy a sandwich, okay? But if you're making 35%, and that's repeatable, right? If that's something you can do over and over and over again, both you and I know that you're not going to be trading small for very long. At which point, all right, things start to get a little more substantial, all right? Because when you trade the mini lots, each of the pips is going to be worth $1. Now, understand, the trade itself is going to be the same. Okay, you're always going to trade for the pips, right? 70 pips on the euro is what you made. But because in this case, you started with a little bit more, right? $200. Now you're taking out a little bit more. 70 pips times $1, $70. Do you see that? But the reason I want you to talk about standard lots, gang, is because when we trade those, each of the pips is worth $10. Okay, and you've already done the math, right? 70 pips times 10, that's a $700 return. Correct. On a $2,000 investment. Right. There's only so many places you can even talk like that. Okay. This is one of them. And this is probably the main reason individual traders like you are flocking to the Forex, because it doesn't take a lot of money to make a lot of money. All right. $700. I don't care who you are. That's a good day of trading. Now you want to know, well, how often does that happen? And it's a good question. All right. The answer is in every currency, every day. All right. I'll show it to you. We'll go live. Okay. The other question you have is a good question too. What's the downside? Right. Anybody can tell you, oh, $700, right? Any idiot can do that, put a big number up on the screen. Wow. But you got to know, right, what the downside is, okay? And I got to show you that too, of course, for this to make sense. But the fact of the matter is that's part of the formula, okay? So I'm going to show you how this all works, all right? And at the end of it, you just have to keep asking yourself as I go through this, because we're going to go live now. There's no reason to wait, all right? Now that you know the particulars, let's just go out and do it. But keep asking yourself, when I show you this formula, right, does that work? Does it make sense? All right, ask yourself, can I do that? Right? And if at the end of this you say, well, yeah, that looks pretty solid, then just give yourself a shot at it. Is that fair enough? All right, but let's go live in the market. I figure the best way to do this is to go live, and I'm going to show this market to you right now. I'm going to teach you this formula right now, and I'm going to use this piece of software. Now, yes, this is a proprietary piece. This is called Ultimate Charting Software, and I want you to write that down because this is the star of the show. All right, this is the tool that's going to get you where you want to go. All right, every one of the traders, right, people like you that have come through our program, they're trading from home, right? They've already got this on their desk. All right, some of you probably already have this as well. Every one of the traders here has this on their desk. Why? Because when we get together in our live trading sessions where we trade, you know, shoulder to shoulder, right, with new people trading with the experts and so forth, we're all looking at the same thing. Okay, now we've got over $1 million invested in this program. And what makes it so valuable is this. Now check it out. No matter what currency you're looking at, all right, no matter what time frame you're looking at, right? I could be looking at the 1 hour, the 1 month, I could be looking at the 1 day chart. I could be looking at the euro, I could be looking at the pound, I could be looking at the New Zealand dollar. Okay, no matter what currency or what time frame I'm looking at, this software is super valuable because it answers the 3 questions every trader has to answer every time. Okay, what are the 3 questions? Number 1, direction. Which way is the market going? Okay, got to answer that question. Got to know if you're going up or down. And you know what? If you know that, if you know the market's going up or you know the market's going down, that's a pretty major advantage. Okay, this answers that first question. But then it goes a step further, right? It'll also tell you where and why to get into the market. Also important, where and why to get out of the market. All right, so this answers the 3 questions every trader has to answer. Okay, and the reason the software itself works so well, okay, is because of the way the forex market works. Now listen to this. The forex market, what did I tell you? It's different, right? It's different. It's unique from any other market. Why? Because of this very characteristic. The forex market, gang, unlike any other market, repeats itself. Okay, write this down. The forex does the same things over and over and over again. All right, this market develops patterns. Now, we're going to read the patterns, all right, on the chart using these blue and white candlesticks. Now, most of you know what a candlestick chart is. You've looked at them before, right? I'm just going to keep this simple because it is, all right? On any candlestick chart, right, that we look at today, when you see blue ones, the market's going down. When you see white candles, the market's going up, all right? Sometimes the market's going down, sometimes it's going up. What do you notice? It never goes straight down or straight up. Okay, it always moves in waves. It moves in patterns. Well, I want to look at a couple of patterns right now. All right, I'm going to call them A, B, C, D. Now write that in your notes. This is a big deal. All right, this is how the forex market works. The forex market always moves in A, B, C, D patterns. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, let's just start over here on the left-hand side. You see this high price right here? I'm going to call that letter A. And what happens from there? The market tails off down to a low price, right? I'm going to call that letter B. Then what happens? The market rallies nice and strong to a high price. So I'm going to call that letter C before what? The market fades, just about falls apart, right? All the way down here to letter D. So now I've got A, B, C, D. That is my pattern. Well, there's a tool, okay, that's built into the program, okay, that can read the patterns. Here's what it does, okay? It's actually kind of simple conceptually, right? It takes 2 measurements from A to B, okay, and from B to C. And with those 2 measurements, what the program can do is tell you where letter D is. Now, at first, that does not sound very impressive. All right, that's what I thought when I first saw this. You can take 2 measurements from A to B and B to C, and it can tell you where D is. I didn't understand why that was important because I could see where letter D was with my own eyes. There it is. There's the low price. All right, and I was getting shown this by the chief, right, the CEO of the company, showing me this for the first time. And I looked at him and I said, Chief, I don't get it. Why is this so valuable? He said, well, okay, let me show it to you maybe a little bit differently and it'll make more sense. What if the tool that's built in here can read the patterns? Okay, let's just look at another pattern, because the forex always moves in A, B, C, D patterns, whether it's moving down or moving up. Let's say we started a pattern here, just as an example, all right, at this low price A. Okay, what if the market then rallied to a high price B, okay, and then faded down to a low price C? I said, I'm with you so far. He said, what if the program could take those same 2 measurements from A to B and from B to C, okay, and it could tell you where letter D was, but it could tell you that before it happened? Does that sound like it might be a little bit of a different conversation? I said, of course, that's what everybody wants, right? I want to know where letter D is before it happens. I want to know what direction I'm going in. He said, Joe, that's what the tool does. Do you think that'll help you? I said, of course it'll help me. He said, well, what if it could tell you not just which way you were going? What if it could tell you not just which way you were going, but how far you were going to go? Do you think you could make some money with that? And of course I said to him, well, yeah, if it works, anybody could make some money with that. He says, well, that's what's built in here. All right, now I'm going to show it to you. All right, I'm going to show you exactly what the chief showed me, and you'll see if this makes sense or not, but I'm going to put this all together for you, because the tool that's in here that reads the patterns is called the Fibonacci tool. Some of you know what this is already. All right, for the rest of you, I just need you to get caught up on this. The Fibonacci tool is built into this program. All right, it's based on something called the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, sequence. I'm going to spell it right too. Okay, now who's Fibonacci? All right, very quickly. That's him. Okay, famous Italian mathematician. All right, why is he so famous? Because he came up with a sequence of numbers called the Fibonacci sequence that can be used to measure everything in nature. In fact, if you look this up on Google when we're done, right, you'll see that it's called nature's numbering system. Because what Fibonacci figured out was that everything, right, in nature follows a, write this down, natural and predictable pattern, okay? And by using his sequence of numbers, you can measure all of it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, check it out. All right, you see this fish right here? This fish, okay? You see that fish, how it's made up of scales, right? If I said to you, how many scales are on that fish? You could try to count them one at a time, all right? But do you know that if you put the Fibonacci sequence on that fish, it'll tell you exactly how many scales are on it? You know why? Because that's a natural and predictable pattern. It'll tell you exactly. It's the same thing with the sunflower. You see this sunflower? If I said to you, okay, how many petals are on the sunflower? You could try to, again, count them one at a time. But if you put the Fibonacci sequence on the sunflower, gang, it'll tell you exactly how many petals are on it. You know why? Because that's not a random number. That is a natural and predictable pattern. This works on everything, all right? It works on architecture, all right? This isn't just a flight of stairs. This is a Fibonacci sequence, all right? We even use it to measure the human body, all right? Our symmetry, all right? Some of you have seen this diagram before. That's the Fibonacci diagram of us. Do you know if you tell me how long your arms are, I can tell you how long your legs are? How? Because that's a natural and predictable pattern. This works on everything, okay? And the fact of the matter is, that's very fascinating, all right? But most of you are saying, great, yeah, it's fascinating. What does it have to do with this? Well, that's where the chief came in. And he said, wait a second. Everything follows a natural and predictable pattern. The forex market obviously follows patterns. What if they're natural and predictable also? In other words, what if we took this Fibonacci thing and plugged it into the forex market and it worked? Okay, we could make a ton of money. That was his thought process. Well, guess what? That's what he did. Okay, made himself a couple of $1 million doing it, right? Fact of the matter is, right, it is plugged in here and it's all part of that formula. And I'll tell you what, I can show you exactly how to use it. Okay, it's right in here. It's called the Fibonacci tool. All you're going to have to do to make this work is be able to look at a candlestick chart and find the high prices and the low prices. If you can do that, all right, find the high prices and the low prices and what we call U-turns, right, you can use this tool to your advantage. Okay, now what do I mean by U-turns? Check it out. You see how this is candles in the shape of the letter U, right? That's a U-turn. The very bottom of it's going to be a low price. Okay, you got a candlestick pattern right here also. It's upside down letter U. The very top of that is going to be a high price. So when you find the high prices and the low prices, you're going to give them a label like we just did here. A, right, high price, B, low price. C, high price, right, D, low price. So you can see how you're going to do that. Now, how does the tool work? Well, it can read the pattern. Here, let me show you. All right, look at, see this here? Let me just go ahead and use these two data points, A and B. What I want to do is connect those two using the tool that's right behind here, right? You see this square in the menu? That's actually where the Fibonacci tool is. Click on that, and you'll find it. All right, it says MTI Fibonacci tool, okay? Now, when you click on it, look what happens. Your cursor turns into a pen, and I just want you to take the pen and draw your line from A to B. All right, that's all I need you to do is draw a line from A to B. And what happens is the Fibonacci sequence shows up on your screen. Okay, there it is. Now this looks like a step ladder, right? This is all the Fibonacci numbers. This is the Fibonacci sequence. What's happening? It's measuring the first leg of the pattern, okay? From high price A to low price B. But what happens when it gets down to low price B? Well, the market stops going down and it rallies. It rallies all the way up here to this high price, letter C, okay? And what I want you to notice is this. Look where letter C is. Look how letter C, that high price, lines up with one of these Fibonacci numbers, okay? That's going to be super significant. Why? Because some people call these Fibonacci numbers energy levels, all right? I call them trampolines because of the way they act on the price of the currency. What do you mean? Well, look at the market has rallied all the way up to this high price, and then it bumped into this trampoline. Now, what happens when you jump on a trampoline? You go bouncing off in the other direction, right? Well, in this case, what happens? The market bounces off in the other direction. In other words, it hits the trampoline and it starts heading down. Okay, so now what? Well, if you can identify the trampoline, you'll know which way the market is going. And that's huge. That's a huge edge for you as a trader. And in fact, if this is all that tool did, right, it would be worth its weight in gold because you'd know which way the market was going. That's major. Okay, but actually, it's more valuable than that because it'll tell you which way the market's going to go and how far. What do you mean? Well, if you can match up some colors, gang, this will actually tell you how far the market's going to go. All you got to do is figure out which trampoline you're bouncing off of. For example, if I'm bouncing off a red one, the way the tool works is this. Not only is the market going to go down, but it's going to keep going down until what? Until it hits this red line, right? This red price sometime in the future. Okay, now how do I know that? Well, that's how this works. If you bounce off of a red trampoline, the way this works is you're going to keep going down until you hit the red line. That's where the Fibonacci sequence will complete. All right, in other words, that's where letter D is going to be. You got A, you got B, you got C. Where's D? This will tell you, right? You're going to find D when you hit this red price sometime in the future. And look, there it is. I mean, that's how it works. There's D, all right? It completed the sequence. It's all about, right, which trampoline you bounce off of. Give you another example. Look at, if this had actually rallied all the way up here to this blue line, see that? In other words, if C had been up here, if the market had rallied even stronger before it made that next U-turn, if you notice that C was at the blue line, okay, that means the Fibonacci sequence itself would be completed when we got down here to this blue price. You got to match the color of the trampoline to know where you're going. This one here, red to red. See that? This one would have been blue trampoline, blue line, okay? And the way the other one works, it's pretty simple. If the market rallies all the way to the green trampoline, okay? See this? If letter C was up here, that means the market would still head in a downward direction, but it would only come down here to the green line. So where letter C is determines where letter D is. That is how the tool works. All right, and I had to show you that so that you were familiar with what the trampolines were about. But you know what? This is just a history lesson. You can see, I guess, that it worked once. Anybody can show you something that works once. All right, I want to show you something that works, all right, but that you can use to your advantage to make some money, because we've already identified A, B, C over here, right? Once this old sequence ended, a new one started right in that same place, okay? Low price we already identified was A. Rallied to a high price, that's B. Pulled back down to a low price, that's C. Now what's happening? Now the market's bouncing, okay? The market's bouncing off of what? Well, it's bouncing off of C. Now, if you had no idea what the Fibonacci was about, you wouldn't know what it was bouncing off of at all. But because you can connect A to B using the Fibonacci tool that's built in here, you can see exactly what this market is bouncing off of. It's bouncing off of this red trampoline. And if this works the way I'm telling you, what should happen? We match the color. That means the market's going all the way up here to this red line. All right. In other words, D is way up here. Okay. Now it hasn't happened yet, so I'm not going to call that D. I'm going to call that future D, okay? I'm going to call that future D. That's where we are going, okay? Now, where are we right now? We're here. So that means what? Well, the difference between here and there, that just became your profit opportunity. You see that? That became your profit opportunity if this works. Now, what does it mean in terms of actual numbers, actual dollars? Let me show it to you, okay? Because I got to make sure this is even going to be worth your time. What do I have here for a current price? I'll click on the candle, All right, the closing price of that candle, very top of it, 71.82. That's your current price. Let me put that right here. Okay. Now, what's your future price? According to this, okay, according to this, when we put the Fibonacci sequence on this pattern, right, it tells us how far we're going to go, right down to the last pip, 74.04. That's my future price. So if this works, that's where we're going. So what does it mean? Well, that difference is going to be your profit. Let's get a calculator out very quickly. All right, 74.04 is where we're going. All right, 71.82 is where we are. So that's a difference of 222 pips. Write that down. All right, and let's have a quick conversation. Okay, because this is where the rubber meets the road. All right, if this works, you're looking at making 222 pips. All right, now I don't know how confident you are that this is going to work, if only because you've only seen it work one time before, right? So maybe you sit this one out, right, in terms of risk, but you make sure to keep an eye on it to see if it works, right? Because 222 pips, right, if I could show you how to do that, that'd be pretty important. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision, right, if it works well enough for you to do this. And then you're going to make a trade, either a micro lot, a mini lot, or a standard lot, okay? If that's the case, okay, let's just say you did this with a micro lot. You made a $20 trade, okay? If you made 222 pips on it, right, you'd more than double your money, $22. Now, if you did that with a mini lot, right, a little bit more significant. Why? Because each of the pips would be worth $1. Okay, you'd make a couple of $100. I told you want to be trading standard lots because this is where it gets to be pretty exciting. All right, all of a sudden we'd be having a $2,200 conversation. And we're not talking about doing this, gang, in months or years. All right, we're talking about making over 100% on your money, and I'm looking at a day chart here. So I guess if I can show you how to make 100% on your money, 111% in a few days, you'd at least be willing to see it, okay? Well, how do I know if that's going to work, Joe? How do I know that that thing's going to go to the red line? The best way to prove it is to just go forward in time so you can see it. And what happens? As you go forward in time, the market continues to bounce. You see this? Now, it doesn't go straight up, right? But it continues to do what? Make higher lows and higher highs. Okay, now how do we know if this works? We know if it works if it makes it all the way to our red line, if it makes it all the way to D. Okay, and look what happens. Comes up here and kisses that line, and guess what? That means we've completed the sequence. In other words, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the market continued to bounce off of this red Fibonacci number until it completed the sequence here. How do we know that was going to work? That's a natural and predictable pattern. Okay. It works in down markets, it works in up markets. All right, I just showed you how to make 111% in 5 days. And you might be kind of interested in that. All right, what does it mean? Well, you know which way the market's going now because you can spot it. You can see where that energy is. Okay, you know that you know where to get in at that point because why? Well, if you know where the market's going, it's going up, then you're going to be a buyer. Okay, now what? The last thing it's got to show you is what time is time to get out. Well, once you're at the end of the sequence, right, once you find D, this isn't future D anymore, okay? This is D. That's when you exit. Why? Because the ride's over. A, B, C, D, the ride's over. That's where you sell, all right? Now, a lot of people would look at this and say, I don't know if I'm ready to sell. That market's going up. Well, that's what people who don't have this would do, okay? I'm up 200 pips. By tomorrow, I should be up 400. Well, you got to understand, gang, this market moves in predictable patterns, either direction. Once you get to the end of the sequence, right, you're going to change direction. You know why? Because you're going to start another sequence, A, B, C, D. Okay? The person that doesn't have this just gave back their whole profit because you knew where to buy and where to sell. You knew about A, B, C, D. Okay? You're able to put that couple of grand in your pocket and then get ready to do it all over again. What do I mean? Remember I told you this does the same things over and over? Look. Low price, high price, A, B, right? Watch this. Low price, high price, A, B. What happens? Market pulls back to a low price. That's C, makes a U-turn, okay? Now, if C's lined up with what? My red trampoline. What does it mean? That means my pattern should end at the red line, right? Red to red in the future, look where it ends. Red to red, A, B, C, D. Then what happens? Changes direction, A, B, C, D. Then what happens? Changes direction, A, B, C, D. Then what happens? Changes direction, all right? A, B, C, D. Okay? This is probably, if you've never seen this before, the most valuable piece of information you've ever gotten when it comes to the market, because now you see it coming alive. You can see that pattern, right? A couple of you have already typed awesome, okay? And I'm just going over the basics at the moment. But if you can suddenly see that pattern, and now you've got a tool that can measure it, gang, this is, for some of you, going to be that difference maker that you hope to find today, okay? All I'm going to tell you is this. Not only does it work on the New Zealand dollar on the one-day chart, okay? This works on all the currencies, okay? It works on all the time frames. A bunch of you have already asked, does it work on the 1 minute chart? Does it work on the 1 day, 1 hour? Works on all of them, okay? The tool itself does what you need it to do. Makes the market measurable, so you'll have that clarity, okay? That's critical, because that's going to give you confidence, okay? Clarity always equals confidence, okay? It's measurable. It's repeatable, okay? That's what makes the formula work. Well, the formula is only a formula, okay, if it works. That's why it's a formula, right? If it didn't work over and over again, it'd just be a hypothesis, you understand? But a formula works over and over. This one works because of the way the forex works, right? It's repeatable, A, B, C, D, over and over and over and over and over and over. But my favorite word here, and the one that's going to help you the most, is this is predictable. Okay, that's going to be the name of the game. And if you got this part, you're very close. All I got to do at this point, right, is just add a couple of words to the conversation so that you're talking like a trader, so that when you come into our room, right, to come trade side by side with us, you're comfortable with the terminology and the formula. Let me just show you the rest of the formula, all right? And stick with me to the end. I'll give you 2 trades based on this formula that you can do today. Okay, here's what we'll do. Doesn't matter which currency I'm looking at, no matter which one I pull up. All right, no matter which one I pull up, every time I look at a currency, no matter what time frame, okay, I'm always going to be looking at candlesticks. So what does that mean? Well, that means I got to bring this chart alive, okay, because the chart has to tell me a story. It's got to tell me when to push the button, when to buy or sell. Every single time you look at a chart, you're going to be looking at candlesticks. Well, you bring the chart alive, right, by using our formula. Here's what you're going to do. Write these 5 words down, okay? Support, resistance, breakout, sequence, and repeat, okay? This is the formula. You ready for this? I'm ready to show it to you. I think you're ready for it as well, okay? You got to bring any chart alive. This is the 2-hour chart, and you got to use it to your advantage to make some money, okay? You're going to start by doing what? Well, when you draw trend lines, that brings information out of the chart. And I want you to really pay close attention to this, because at the end, all right, if this makes sense to you, I'm going to let you get this software on your desk today. Try it out for 60 days. Okay, so make sure that you're paying attention to what the buttons do, so that when you get this and you're going through that, right, trying it out, that you're not fumbling around, you know what button to push. Because I want you to see that this works right there on your own computer before you have to decide whether you want to keep it or not. Okay, so here, pay close attention. You're going to bring the chart alive, right, using a thing called trend lines. Now, most of you know how to draw a trend line. If you're new, here, I'll just show you a trend line. Okay, there it is, right? All I've really done is connect a few dots, but that trend line tells me a story. Okay, part of the story is what? Well, every time the market comes up to the trend line, what happens? It sells off, okay? You can see the market comes up to the trend line, sells off, comes up, sells off, comes up, crashes down, all right? What's happening here is this. This trend line is acting, right, like a ceiling on the price of the currency, right? Currency's trying to go up. That ceiling is keeping it down. It's pushing back, okay? Well, that's what we call resistance, okay? That makes sense. Resistance, okay? It's resisting, right, the market from going higher. And that's part of the story, okay? What else can I do with a trend line? I can show you just the opposite. You see this? Instead of acting like a ceiling on the currency, okay, this trend line's acting like a floor, all right? Look, comes down to the floor, bounces up. Comes down to the floor, bounces up. Comes down to the floor, bounces up. Well, what's the floor doing under your chair right now? It's holding you up, right? Well, that's what this trend line's doing, right? It's acting like support. It's supporting the price of this currency. Now you're saying, well, that makes sense. Of course it does, okay? But now you're starting to talk like a trader, right? And I'm showing it to you maybe for the first time in the forex market, but now it's time to put all this together. Because why? Because the most important thing on this screen is right here. You see this? I just circled it. Right here is exactly what you are going to be looking for as a forex trader. Now, why is that so important? Because look what happened, right? The market came down to here and rallied, and we would have expected what? When it hit that point of resistance, we would have expected the market to sell off again. But instead, what happened? It pushed through the ceiling, right? It broke through the ceiling. That is called, you got to write this down, a breakout. Okay, and this is exactly what you're going to be looking for as a forex trader every single time. All right, breakouts are a big deal. Breakouts are your chance to make money. Okay, because what comes after breakouts is strong moves. So you've got to be ready to act when you see these breakouts. You're not going to see them all the time. Okay, you're going to look at your charts and you're going to look for them to happen. When they do happen, you've got to be ready to act, because that's when money is made. Well, how do I act? Well, very good question. Here's the answer. You pull out what I showed you, right? The sequence that I showed you. This is when you take the knowledge that you've got, A, B, C, D, and the Fibonacci tool, and you turn it into action. Okay, watch what you're going to do exactly. It's no different than I just showed you, but right here is an opportunity to make some dough. All right, here, let me just go ahead and get rid of any of this extraneous stuff so that you can see this exactly, all right, nice and clearly. All right, we've got a breakout through that ceiling, okay? We've also got a low price right there. So what are we going to do? We're going to get our sequence out. We're going to start it right there. That low price is letter A, okay? What happens? The market rallies to a high price. That's letter B, okay? Then what? The market pulls back down to a low price right there, right? That's letter C before what? Before making a strong U-turn, okay? You see that? So I've got A, B, C. The only thing missing here is D. Where is it? Well, let's find it. The tool will show us where letter D is, all right? All we got to do is draw the line from A to B. Now, when we do that, watch. C lines up with the red trampoline. Now, if this works, what should happen? The market should rally until what? It hits this red line sometime in the future. And look at that. It does it exactly. It comes right up to that trend line, A, B, C, D, and it completes the sequence. Do you see that? And you're like, well, yeah, I see it, but I'm not sure how to make money with it. Because why? Because it's over, right? Because that sequence is over with. How am I supposed to make money on something that's already finished? And that's a good question, all right? But if you're wondering what good this information is, okay, what this has just done for you is a couple of things. It's confirmed that that pattern thing works, right? It's also confirmed what? That the market's going up. Why? Because we've burst through this trend line, and now what? Now we're on a new pattern. Can you see it? Watch this. This is a low price, isn't it? Well, let's call that letter A. Let's bring our energy forward and call that low price letter A. Then what? The market rallies to this high price. See it? Let's call that letter B. Okay? Then what? Market pulls back down to a low price and makes a U-turn. Now we got A, B, and C again, don't we? What do we have to do here? Well, first of all, we have to draw our line from A to B. And then we got to remember the last word in the formula. It's right down here at the bottom. Repeat. We found our support and resistance. We found our breakout. We put our sequence to work. We saw this first one, A, B, C, D. Now, this last word that's part of the formula is going to be used to our advantage, because this A, B, C, D thing, gang, going to repeat itself. All right? And if it works, now watch this. That means we're going to go from this red line all the way up here to this red line. Red trampoline, red line. That's where we're going. This just became a profit opportunity. And if this works, we're going to 142.12. You see that? Is that, wait a minute, is that overstated? Might be a little bit. Hold on. I only want to go to that high price. Okay, let's not overdo it. All right, let's say we're going to 142. Fair enough. I don't want to overstate it. I want to make sure we got some accuracy. Okay, where's our current price? Well, we're at 140.47. So if this works, we're going to make ourselves 153 pips. Okay, now you've seen it work a couple of times. You saw it work on the New Zealand, right? Down and up, repeated. Okay, I showed it to you once here. At some point, you've got to be confident enough to at least do this as a micro lot. Okay, micro, mini, or standard though on 153 pips. All right, the fact of the matter is you're looking at making 76% on your money. And now we're looking at a 2-hour chart, not days or weeks or months. 76% if this works in a couple hours. Now, I'm not going to even ask the question, right? Who would want to make 76% in a couple hours? Everybody, obviously. Okay. Well, guess what? That's what's waiting for you. All you have to do at this point, since you know the market's going up, is buy it. And then what, Joe? Wait to get my 76%? That's right. Okay. Now, what are the two questions you have? Number one, how do I do it? Okay. The buying part's easy. Mechanically, come over here to the trading button. You click on buy. Now, you're going to have a trading account attached to this software, right? We're not a broker though, so you're not going to open that account with us. Just like you did when you opened up your stock trading account, Merrill Lynch, E-Trade, Schwab, Fidelity, one of those. You're going to open up a forex trading account. Who do you open that with? Forex.com, Oanda, right? There's a couple of different ones. You can look them up when we're done, but it's easy to open an account. You go to forex.com, you click on open an account, it'll take you 3 minutes, okay? They'll give you a demo account you can start messing with today, right? You want to fund the account, you can be up and trading probably in about 20 minutes total. They take a debit card or a bank transfer, okay? But you'll attach that account right to the software. When it's time to trade, you click on the buy button, you choose, right, either 10 cents a dollar or $10 a pip, and then you click OK, you'll buy the currency. So mechanically, that's pretty easy, okay? What are you worried about? Well, you're worried about the downside, right? Anybody would want to buy to make 76% on the upside, but your concern, obviously, because you're a trader, is what's the risk? And that's the last part of the formula. I got to show you that too. Once I do, you have this thing in your hip pocket, okay? What's the risk? Well, if this works out, you make serious money. But if it doesn't, what happens? Well, you could fall off a cliff, right? We don't want that. We don't like risk. You don't like risk. So what you're going to do every time you place a buy order is you're also going to place what's called a stop order. You got to write that in your notes. Okay, a stop order builds a floor underneath your trade. So that what? So in case the thing goes against you, right, you're protected. Your downside is protected. That's going to limit your risk. Okay. Now, some of you have heard of a stop order, right? And you consider it to be something that's optional. Around here, it's essential, all right? And at the same time, you place any buy order, you're going to limit your risk by building a floor under your trade. I'll show you what it looks like. Looks like this, okay? Got a floor. Now, in this market, here's what will happen. If it goes up, you're happy. But if it should go against you, all right, the furthest it can fall is down here to your floor, at which point what will happen? Automatically, okay, automatically, you'll be exited from the market, protecting the rest of your account. Okay, automatically. Well, what do you mean automatically? I put stop orders in the options market or the stock market. Sometimes it jumps right over my stop. Well, why? Because the market's open or closed, right? This market is liquid and it's open 24 hours. There's always a buyer, there's always a seller. You understand that? There's no gaps of time, there's no gaps of price. So that if you place a stop in this market, you are protected. You understand that? That is a huge advantage to you. That's why so many people like trading this market, because they know that they can walk away from their screen and that they're protected. Okay, you can go to the store, you can go drop your kids off at school, right? You're protected. When you put that stop order in, there's no more sweaty palms. You understand? Okay, but here's what I need you to understand. Okay, yes, this is going to be an essential part of your strategy, but I don't want you just putting your stop any old place. You've got to put your stop in a place that makes sense. Now, what do I mean? Well, you're either going to be a conservative or an aggressive trader, right? 80% of the people I work with are conservative traders. Thank you. He just brought me some water. 80% of the traders I work with are conservative traders, which is fine. Most of the time, I'm a conservative trader too. That means you're going to place your stop in a specific place. You're going to place your stop, if you're conservative, way up here at letter C, C for conservative. You see that? What does a conservative trader want to do? They want to risk as little as possible to make as much as possible. That just makes sense, okay? So if you're conservative, now you know where you're going to put your stop. Conservative, C for conservative, all right? Now, some of you, though, are going to be more aggressive traders. That's just your style. It's not right or wrong. It just is, okay? But if you're an aggressive trader, I don't mind. It just means that you're going to place your stop a little lower. You're going to place it here at letter A for aggressive, right? A lot of the traders I work with are aggressive traders. They place their stop down here at letter A. Now, why would they do that? Isn't that more risk? Yes, it is. It's an aggressive style, okay? They're going to adjust their trade size all right, based on the number of pips they have at risk. But the reason they're willing to put their stop down here at letter A is because they know something that you don't know, okay? But I'm going to tell you what that is, right, so that you can make a decision on whether or not this is going to be your style. Right. The reason my aggressive traders place their stop all the way down here at letter A is because they understand how these patterns work. They understand the Fibonacci's, and they know, all right, that if the market pulls back, but it does not break below the letter A, all right, if the market pulls back, see this, and it does not break below where their stop is, the letter A, then here, let me finish the sentence. If the market pulls back and does not break below the A, I got to finish the sentence here. You got to write this down. Okay, hold on. Come on. That means it has no choice but to go your way. Okay, if the market pulls back and does not break below the letter A, it has no choice but to bounce off one of these trampolines, gang, right, and go up and finish the sequence. If it doesn't break below the A, if it maintains that sequence, that means what? Market has to make a U-turn and it's going higher. They know that. You'll learn that. The more reps you do with this, you'll understand it. But the fact of the matter is, once you place your stop at C or A, you're protected. And what do you do at that point? You just go forward in time so that you can see that this works. All right, protected the entire time. What do you see? You're watching the candlesticks. The market doesn't go straight up, but what happens? It keeps making higher lows and higher highs because it's bouncing off of that red trampoline, and it will keep going up until it completes the sequence, until it kisses that line. And that's exactly what it did here. A, B, C, D. How'd you do? You just made yourself 76%. It took you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars, 2 hours a bar. It took you a day. Okay, protected the entire time to make yourself 76%. Now that looks pretty good, all right, but that's one trade. Now I'm showing you that it works, right? I've shown you a couple of times, but I think repetition is the mother of skill. Okay, anybody can show you something that works once. What do I want you to do? I want you to take advantage of the fact that this repeats itself. Support, resistance, breakout, sequence, repeat. Okay, if this repeats itself, that means you make money at it over and over again. That's what traders do. Okay, it is a very clinical process, but the fact of the matter is, right, my clinical process continues to work to my advantage. Look at, let me get rid of the old information. Let's say this is what you pulled up on your screen. Okay, you see A, B, C, D, and now what? Now you're giving some of it back because you're at the end of the sequence. Well, yes, you're at the end of one, but you're at the beginning of the next one. The old C becomes the new A. Okay, the old D becomes the new B. Here, just stick with me. Okay, what do you got? You got a sequence here, right? It's just beginning, A and B. Okay, low price to high price. So what are you waiting for? You're waiting for letter C, okay? You're waiting for letter C. There's no trade here yet. You got to find that next U-turn. You got to find where the market's bouncing. You got to identify the Fibonacci sequence. Now, do I know which of these trampolines it's going to bounce off of? No, but I'm waiting for that next U-turn, right? Where is it? Well, that sort of looks like one. Okay, that might be true. Okay, but I don't want you to do sort of looks like. All right, I want you to keep things real simple. I want you to look for the most obvious U-turn. Okay, where the candle closes with the most obvious U-turn. That's when you're going to act, because that's when you identify letter C. And look, now I got an obvious U-turn. All right, this one was a maybe. This one, obvious. Okay, so if that's my U-turn, the bottom of it is letter C. Now, hang with me. Okay. There's letter C, okay? Which means what? Well, it means that I've identified it bouncing off of this red trampoline, which means we should be going up here to this red line in the future, okay? Joe, it can't be this easy. Well, hold on a minute, all right? Let's just put some numbers on it, okay? I've got this right now at 142.22. If this goes to 144.05, that's 178.5. That's 183 pips. Okay, 183 pips. Any way you slice it, okay, whether you do one mini lot or one full lot, right, whether we talk about this being worth $1,830, right, you're still talking about 91% on your money. That's better than the last one, right? And I think at this point you want it to work. I think at this point you're seeing something that's starting to make sense, and that repetition is starting to give it its strong validation, okay? Just do me a favor. If you're going to trade it, okay, trade in a size that makes you comfortable. and make sure you're protected. All right, let's be conservative just to get started. What happens here? Market continues to bounce. This is how it works, A, B, C, D. Now, does it go straight up? No, right? But what happens? It makes higher lows and higher highs because it's continuing that positive energy. And what ends up happening is the market continues to go up until what? Until it kisses that line. Okay? How do you know that's going to work, Joe? Because you know how many different ways I can show this to you? All right? I don't care what chart I'm looking at. This is how it works. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. How'd you do on this one? Well, the 91% part is done, right? How long did it take? Because this was our entry price, right? Hold on. Let me see. If our entry was here, 20 bars, 2 hours, about 40 hours, 2 days, right? So the first trade took you 1 day. This one took you 2 days, right? You had to wait for that entry for about a day, day and a half. So let's just say this was a week of trading. That's 336 pips. Not too bad, okay? And now you're a pro. Now you're seeing that this isn't just a one-time thing, all right? Fact of the matter is, you're just going to wait for this to repeat itself again. Now look what happens, all right? Market continues to do what? Move higher, move higher, move higher, okay? And now we're doing what? We're waiting for letter C. So we've got a low price, we got a high price. Hey, let me just show you this last one, all right? Now what are we doing? We're waiting for that pullback. But look what happens, all right? We get a pullback, all right, but while we're waiting for letter C to show up, not only does the market pull back, it breaks down. So what do? Well, we're not in a trade at this point. Remember that. We were waiting to identify C. So we're not in the market at this point. All right, we exited at D. We already booked this. This is in our pocket. Now we're waiting for letter C, but the market has broken down. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means, look, see this? Remember support and resistance? That's a bounce. That's a bounce. So is that, so is that, so is that. But what's this? As the market pulled back, what do we have here? Got a breakdown. We got a breakout to the downside. Remember that? We broke through the floor. So now what does that mean? Well, now instead of making money in this direction, we're going to look to make it in this direction, but we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. Okay? We're going to bust out with our sequence. A, B, C, D. We're just going to do it in reverse. The high price is now A. Okay? Then what do we wait for? We wait for the low price and the U-turn. Okay? We got a low price right here. That's letter B. Then what? Well, we've got to draw our line from A to B. Okay? A to B. Then we got this strong rally up to here, and then we got a U-turn. Okay? That strong rally up to here is letter C. What's it line up with? This time the green trampoline. So Joe, you're telling me that if this works, this should go from green to green? That's what I'm telling you. All right, and I got to believe that if I can show you that, you'd at least be willing to try this. Because look, this is consecutive. All right, I'm not showing you this, right, as it sort of works this way, it sort of works that way. This is consecutive, okay? And look what happens, okay? Not only does the market push to the downside off that green trampoline, it keeps going down. Until what? Until it hits that green line right there. Green, green. How'd you do? Let's measure it. This is our entry, right? Even that lousy entry price. 31 bars, so that's 62 hours. Call that 3 days, 300 pips. Not too bad. And it just keeps doing the same thing, no matter what. No matter what, you're going to be looking at candlestick charts. No matter when you pull it up, you're going to look at candlestick charts. And look, when I say repeats, look at this. Doesn't this look a lot like this? Doesn't this breakout look a lot like that breakout? Uh-huh. Doesn't that look like a low price and a high price and a pullback? Look at low price, high price, pullback, red trampoline. It'd be real hard for me to say, if you showed this to me, that it goes right to the red line and changes direction because that's some sort of a fluke or an error. That is A, B, C, D, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's how it works. So now what? Now that you've got this, you've got to be able to use this to your advantage. Okay? You've got to be able to take what you see on the chart right this minute and be able to use it to your advantage. Well, guess what's happening here, gang? All right? Couldn't be much easier to spot. I got to draw a trend line. So let me go find a high price. I can do that, right? There. I got a trend line break. Okay? Now I got a low price. That's A. Okay? Now if you're going to do this for the first time, you might not be sure, right, how to draw the Fibonacci's, then use the SMART tool. This is another big advantage to using this piece of software. It'll draw the Fibonacci's for you. Look at that. See where it says A, B, C, D? Watch this. One click, just find the low price. It draws the sequence. The first one worked, A, B, C, D. Now you're on this one, A, B, C. Holy cow, right? We've got an opportunity to make some dough on this. Where's letter C? It's right here bouncing off the blue line, which means if this works, we're going blue to blue. It's worked over and over and over, okay? So blue to blue would be what? Well, where are we now? 138.58. Where's that blue line? 139.45. So 42 and 45, that's 87 pips. I mean, I don't know if that gets you too excited, but it gets me excited. That's an opportunity, all right? 87 pips, if you did a one lot trade, $10 a pip would be $870. That's real money. You understand? Where do you put your stop? You get nice and conservative. You put your stop right down here at letter C. All right. So that's your risk. That's your reward. Now, you might say, well, that's not the greatest looking trade, but look at what you're doing. You've now been able to analyze it very clearly. And if you don't like that one, don't do it. Okay. But see how you're in control? All right. That might not be the greatest looking trade. I think there's quality in that trade, but you might want to see something with a little less risk and a little more reward. So what do? The same thing I've been showing you. Okay, you go find yourself a good trade. Here, pound NZD. All right, let's see if we can find one here. If you didn't like that last one, it's okay. All right, because what do you got here? Well, I'm looking at an ABCD. Let me just go ahead and do the smart Fibonacci on it. There, ABC. All right, green to green. Looks like where we're going on this one. All right, green, see that? The low price ticked down to the green trampoline. That's where our U-turn is. All right, this is a monster. This is a good looking trade. I go green to green, that's 179.81. So that's another 75 pips. All right, that's a good looking trade. Okay, all right, that's a nice looking day trade, right? That's the 1 hour chart. All right, I'm confident with that. Why? Because look where my trend line is, okay? I got my breakout. I'm on this side of my breakout. That's a quality trade, right? So write that one down. I told you I'd give you a couple of good ones. You want one that's even bigger than that? Look, no matter which currency I pull up, all right, here, different currency, different time frame, all right? No matter which currency I pull up, if I've got a high price and a low price, all right, I can see that this pattern works. Look at, see this? Market rallies to the red line. Are you really going to tell me that this went all the way down to the red line exactly, and that's a fluke, A, B, C, D? Are you going to tell me that when it changes direction and I got a low price and a high price and the market pulls back, right, pulls back down to a low price, which is what? The green trampoline. Are you really going to tell me that the market went from green to green exactly, and that's a fluke somehow, A, B, C, D? It's not. This is the language of the forex. There's no other market that works this way. You can't trade stocks this way. You can't trade options this way. You can't trade futures this way. You can only trade the forex market this way because it works, right? And when the market changes direction, it does another U-turn, and watch how many times this repeats itself. Watch how many times this repeats itself. You ready for this? Look at this market does the same thing. Watch, over and over and over and over and over. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Doesn't matter, all right, which currency I look at or which time frame. Let me give you a good one. You can do this one today, all right? If I draw my trend line here, this is real time now, all right? If I draw my trend line here, all right, I've got an obvious breakout. I can only keep saying this the same way, right? I try to make it more exciting the second, third, fourth, and fifth time, but I can't make it more exciting because it doesn't change. It's always the same thing. That's the formula, okay? And if I go ahead, right, and hit my smart Fibonacci button here, look at, this is my current trade. A, B, C, lower highs, lower lows, or higher highs, higher lows, right? Red to red, 170, 177, that's 422 pips. Is that a little more exciting, right? 422 pips, okay? And if you want to do this with a little bit less risk, instead of setting your stop all the way down here, do me a favor, all right? Trade this one. There, see this? Red to red, even lower risk. That'll be your first trade when you get this on your desk. All right, I don't know if anybody else is going to do that for you today. Show you how to make 500 pips. That's what this is. All right, this trade right here, write it in your notes, pound Canadian. That's 500 pips. Your risk is down here at letter C, so very little risk, very high reward. That's how you make $5,000. I hope that helped, all right? But what's really going to help is when you get this on your desk. all right? There's going to be a checklist built in so you can do it right today, right now. Everything I showed you, all right? Just go through the steps. It'll tell you if you're doing it right, okay? This one will tell you, look, yeah, you got an 85% chance of making money. Well, that's going to give you confidence to push the button, right? If you go through the steps though, and that says 25 or 32, you know what? Either you missed a step or you got the wrong currency, all right? Even the chief will tell you, skip that one. But the checklist is there designed so that you can do this, all right, the right way right out of the gate. Okay, your timing's good. And you're ready to do this. You're ready to be in that room for non-farm payrolls, which is tomorrow. Okay, that's when the big announcement comes. If you want, we'll do the setups for you on all the currencies today at either 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock, so you can be ready regardless of what the number is tomorrow. You'll be poised and ready to take advantage of it. Good number, great. Click button A. You'll have a basket of currencies to make money in that direction. Bad number, great. Click button B. You'll have a basket of currencies set up to make money in the other direction. All right, all based on the Fibonacci's. It is totally awesome. I know you can do it. It's just going to be a matter of trying it out. So if this made sense to you at all right, what I need you to do is right there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, let me know a good way to get in touch with you after we break so that we can get this on your desk today. All right, all the auto fib tools will be included. All right, we'll get you a username and password so that you can go through this and use it and do it. All right, I'll give you a chance to test drive this thing. I mean, normally it's $249 a month, right? But if you want to get on this team today and try this out and test this out, see if it works, right? See if it works for you, right? I'll give you the software for 2 months for free so you can do just that. All right, and if you need a little bit of review, that's built into the program. See, this says automatic online interactive training built in. Look, look, look. All right, everything that I showed you today is built into the program. It's one click away. You click education, okay? You put in the username and password that I give you today and check it out. Everything I taught you is going to be right here, one click away at your fingertips, okay? Look at, what's the forex? I taught you that, okay? Support and resistance, that's the ceilings and the floors, okay? The Fibonacci's, the ABCDs, we started drawing those, uptrends, downtrends, right? Where to put your stops. I went through all of this quickly, right? But this is your chance to review it. And there's videos that are attached to it. You can press the pause button while you're taking notes to make sure you got it just right. The fact of the matter is, maybe you call your friend or your neighbor, your brother-in-law and say, hey, can you come over to the house a minute? I want to show you this thing that I got today, right? And you work together on it. All right, see if it makes sense to both of you. Maybe your kids or your spouse can share that with you as well. All right, so if you're interested in that at all, do what it says on the bottom of the screen, because in order to get this, I got to be able to reach out to you, me or one of my traders here. Okay, but once we get this on your desk, gang, I mean, it's just going to be a matter of you, right, getting used to using it, and it's that repetition that's going to be where the rubber meets the road. You got questions, we'll answer them. All right, if you need to. All right, if you didn't quite get all of this today, I've got a 2-day class that I can get you into, all right? Because you got to learn the formula. If you're going to trade with our group, the chief says it. Everybody that trades with us has to know the formula. That's what we do, all right? That's what works. That's what we've been doing for 23 years. And one way or the other, we got to make sure that you got it, okay? But the key is what? Make sure that you got it so you can do that last step with us, right? Apply your training. You know what that is? Let's go out there and make some money. All right, let's do this live. Let's do it together. Let's have some fun with it. All right, fact of the matter is, a lot of people are already doing that. A lot of people are brand new. They come to a webinar, they say, you know what, that makes sense. They give themselves a shot. Next thing you know, it works well enough that they're getting consistent numbers. All right, and that's really a word that you're looking for. You don't want anything to be throwing your money against the wall and hoping it sticks. You want to see that consistency. All right, you want to see that the formula works, even if you're coming right out of the gate, right? If it's a formula, it should work pretty strong right away. All right, you understand that? For Charlie, it did. All right, but you come work with our traders. All right, you come work with people that have been in all the different publications because the results are so good. All right, and then you're the person that's putting a testimonial on our Facebook page. All right, this person over here even gave us their account statement because they wanted to show us how well they were doing. That happens all the time. All right, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see that thousands of people have already made the decision to give this a shot. All right, every day they tell us how they're doing. All right, and I think by tomorrow on that non-farm payroll announcement, I want you to be on that list also. All right, so let's get this on your desk. Winston, Charlie, I've got your numbers. Robert, I've got yours also. All right, and in fact, those of you that are going to give this a shot, understand this is called the Ultimate Traders Package on Demand. This is It's the most comprehensive, all right, system for trading the Forex market on the planet. All right. And when you get on our team, let me tell you all of what's involved. First of all, it's lifetime education. All right. This never goes away. So you can do this at a pace that makes sense to you, right? And you'll have it for the rest of your life. All right. We do live events every couple of weeks, right? We do them either here in Orlando or you can do them live online. These live events are free once you're on board as a student. Okay. You'll also get that online university that I told you about, that tutorial, right? That's 24/7 access. Plus there's an app for it. So you can carry it around on your cell phone. So if you want to be a Forex trader, you're going to literally have it right at your fingertips. Okay. Of course, we'll get you the software, right? Because that is going to be the key to your success. All right. It's going to come with all those automated tools that I showed you. You'll get to play with those starting today. And as a matter of fact, listen, this is important. Your next step is built in here as well. Okay. A lot of people, once they see the power of the formula, they want to know if they can automate some of the steps. Well, once you see that it works, here's what you can do. We'll show you how to push a few of the buttons and have this monitor the charts for you, looking for breakouts. Okay. When it finds one, it'll send you a text message to your smartphone so that you don't have to be tied to the computer. Okay, you could be dropping your kids at school, you could be at the grocery store, you could be doing what it is you do, living your life, and the program itself will look for those breakouts. As soon as you see that text message, you'll know, okay, now's the time to do a trade. That is an awesome feature. All right, that's one of the main features of the program. But you'll get the checklist today so you know what to do right out of the gate. Then it's just going to be a matter of doing it. All right, do it enough times so you're comfortable, and then go. All right, this is the method. Okay, I can't make it more exciting than that. The excitement part comes when you see it work. Okay, get out there, do some trading. The chief, he'll help you. All right, you'll even have access to our CEO twice a week, so that if you want to ask even the top person any question you want about this program, he'll answer them for you. And anytime you trade, you'll never ever trade alone when it comes to working with our group. All right, look, we're so confident that this works. Let me just wrap it up. We're so confident that this works. Okay, and that you can do it, that we can teach you how to do it, that we're literally going to give you the entire program today, okay, risk-free for the next 60 days. That way you don't have to just take my word for it, okay? You can put it on your computer, you can see that it works, okay, before you have to make any final decision on whether it's just right for you. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, all right, the only person you're really going to trust when it comes to this stuff is yourself. So all that we ask is that you give this an honest effort. All right, so when you get down to it, what's the value of all this? Well, when you add up all the components, all right, the software is a huge component, all right, but it's also the development, it's also the mentorship, it's also the training and all the other things that go with it. The value of the program is massive, all right? In fact, it's about $14,000 worth of value. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get the program, and listen, it's not $14,000, okay? That's the value that you'll be receiving. But the fact of the matter is, all right, I've got a couple of 3 ways that you can get involved with the program. I know one of them is going to work for every one of you, okay? And no matter which one you pick, I'll save you a ton of money, all right? Here's one thing you could do. You could go to my website. It's markettraders.com. Write that down. When you go there, you'll see the value of the components. But what we've done on the website is bundle everything. All right, why do we bundle? Because it just makes sense. Everybody saves time and money when you bundle, right? And that follows through here. You could go to my website any day you want. All right, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover. You can get the entire bundle, all right? And it's not $14,000. It's about half of that, all right? You get it, you have it for the rest of your life. Terrific. So why did I just put a big line through it? Because here at Investor Inspiration, all right, we're going to do it a little different because you spent this time with me. Okay, because you did, you learned the formula, you learned the language, you're ready to hit the ground running. That's valuable, not just to you, but to us. It means that when you get into the trading room, you're ready to go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you full value for the time you just spent here today. All right, I'm going to take right away $2,000 off the online retail for the program, meaning you can get started today for a one-time investment, all right, of $5,995. That's 25% off the retail price. Okay, it's very easy to get started at this point. All you have to do is simply type in your telephone number into that chat box. Okay, what's going to happen is I'm either going to reach out to you immediately or I'm going to have one of my traders, right, one of my education specialists, they're going to call you. Okay, we're going to spend as much time with you as necessary. All right, we're going to answer any and all questions that you have. And then, I mean, at that point, you're off to the races. Okay, the only problem I think you're going to have with this program is that you didn't see this 6 months ago, all right, and get started back then. Now, Michael just asked me, hey, do you have a payment plan? Michael, good question. You see that at the bottom? You see where it says payment programs available? That's actually something that we offer. That's a good question. If you want to get your foot in the door, okay, you can absolutely do that. That's something we offer. All you got to do is put a small amount down, all right, and we can do the rest as a pay-as-you-go situation. Okay, so either of those is a good way to get started. So Robert, good, I've got your number. William, I have yours. All right, Rob just said payment plan, we'll customize something for you. Rob, listen, what you do is you put a small amount down, but you tell us what you can afford, okay, on a monthly basis, because this has to fit your budget. This has to be affordable. You got to be comfortable with it, or else I don't want you to get started. You understand that? So that's part of the conversation that we'll have. All right, good. Marty, I've got your number. Darren, I've got yours as well. Okay, here's what I need you to know as I wrap this up, okay? Because we're celebrating our 23rd anniversary around here, and we want you to get started strong, okay? We want you to start strong, and we know you need to get a value for your investment. All right, the chief says as soon as they start, give them to me. For your first 3 months of using the program, okay, you're going to be actually in the chief's trading room where he's averaging more than 2,000 pips a week. Normally, this is reserved for our veteran traders, okay? People have been doing this a while. But a lot of people have said, well, can I just jump in there and see what he's up to? Can't you show me this in real time? I mean, I want to earn while I learn. Okay, and the chief said, you know what, that makes sense. So anybody that gets started today, I'm going to give you the chief, the founder of the company. He's going to mentor you, all right, directly. He'll give you a game plan every Sunday. He'll follow through with you several times a week when it comes to trading the different currencies, all right? And you'll be able to be in his trading room where he's averaging more than 2,000 pips a week. So that's a huge benefit, and it's going to get you fast tracked that much quicker. So let me just go ahead and let you know exactly what's going to happen. All right, and give you a little bit of additional value. All right, I'm not going to just give you the software for 2 months. Okay, you get started today. I'm going to give you that software for 6 months. All right, because I don't want you worried about $249 a month. I only want you worried about learning that formula. Okay, my day traders, I didn't have time to show you all the day trading tools that are built in here. I'm going to include one for you, okay, called the Turbo Trader, that's going to help you if you want to do this as a day trading 7, 8, 9, 10 trades a day exercise. Okay, normally the Turbo Trader is an add-on that costs an extra $1,000, but because I didn't have time to show you all the charts today, I'm just going to add that as a bonus. All right, my day traders especially will appreciate that. We'll show you how to use that one. All right, you're going to be able to trade the non-farms Friday. This afternoon, in fact, you'll be able to get all those setups from Josh. So that's going to be a part of what you do, and you're ready to do that now. Plus, you get to work with the chief, so that's additional value. Okay, and fact of the matter is, if you do this as a one-time payment today, all right, I'll give you the charts for a whole year. So at this point, really, it's up to you. All right, there's additional value that's built into the program. Now I just got to hear what the best way is for you to get started. Some of you already said you want to do a payment plan, which is fine. Some of you, I'm sure, are going to be okay with a one-time payment. Okay, here's what I want you to do. If you think you're leaning towards doing this as a one-time payment, all right, getting that $2,000 discount plus a year of charts, okay, all I want you to do at this point is next to your phone number, type the letter A. Okay, now what does that mean? Well, if you type the letter A, all right, I'm not saying you're committed to this right now, this instant. Okay, all I'm saying is that we get your questions answered. All right, we show you the warranty. This makes sense to you that you're in a position to make a one-time payment if this works. Okay, so only type the letter A if you're in a position to be able to do that. Whether or not you do it, that's still to be determined. Does that make sense? Now, on the other hand, type the letter B if you think you're more likely, right, to do this as a payment plan. All right, payment plan means what? All you got to do is put a small amount down today. All right, the rest of it will spread out over time. But either way you do this, gang, you've got 60 days. Okay, what do I mean? Well, we want you to use the program, not for 10 or 15 days or 30 days or 45. We want you to use it for 60 days so that you can prove to yourself that it works. All right, come to the class as many times as you want. Learn everything that you can. Come trade with us, because we'll give you a schedule. We trade 2 or 3 times a day live. One of those daily sessions, right, is going to meet your schedule. All right, you've got 60 days to go through all of this with every resource available to you. And at the end of that time, that's when you're going to make a decision on this. Okay, and it's going to be an easy one, really, because after 60 days, you're going to have the results, right? If it worked the way I said, you're going to keep it, obviously. Okay, but if it's not your cup of tea after 60 days, no matter how well it works, you might say, look, that forex market, it's cool, but it's not for me. It's all right, because in writing, what our warranty says is that after 60 days, if it's just not for you, we'll refund every penny that you paid just for trying it out. All right, your downside is zero. Okay, your upside's phenomenal. Whether you're an option A or an option B, you got 60 days. Worst case is you're going to get a full forex education out of it. All right, I've got a 2-day class coming up. If you can make it to that, write down the dates. It's next week. All right, I still got some room in the class, so it's fine. All right, but imagine what you learned from me in an hour and a half. What are you going to learn in 2 days? It's awesome. You're going to learn 7 different strategies. All right, you're going to be able to tailor this to your trading style. And by the time you're done, you're going to know how this market works. You're right there. You're this close. All right. Give yourself a shot at it. By the time you're done with that 2-day class, you're going to have this thing right in your hip pocket. All right. And I've got to get a move on because my time is up. So understand. All right. If you want to get into that class, all right, let me know. In fact, to guarantee yourself a spot in it, here's what we'll do. All right. If you want to save a little time, call this number. Don't wait for us to call you. All right. I don't want anybody calling me. Well, fine. Write down the number anyway. Okay, because you can call us. And the fact of the matter is, if you're going to call in, I'll make it worth your trouble. Okay, you call me, right? You're going to save some time. Well, time's money. I'll save you $500. Fair enough. Just do that right off the top. I just think that's a good way to do things. You'll be able to reserve a spot in the class. So Robin, Paul, I've got your number, your option B. Perfect. Yeah, if you want to call me, Nick says, I'm going to call you. Okay, good. Nick, $500 off. Easy enough, just to make things easy for you. All right, whether you do an option A or B. All right, so that means I got 4 of those left. Patel, I got you as an option A. Thank you for that. Gil is an option B. All right, couple more questions. That's fine. All right, let's get those answered. Just make sure I've got your number. Okay, Amanda, I've got your number. Good for you. All right, look, the results are there. All right, I could tell you about them. I can show you testimonials. I could tell you about the Shark Tank people. They've seen them. The best way for you to see this is get it on your desk. All right, I know this made sense to you. I know that no matter what chart I showed you, it moved A, B, C, D. For some of you, that is the game-changing piece of information you came here to see today. I'm going to go to Investor Inspiration. I want to find that one thing. Well, maybe you just found it. All right, but now you got to take it and put it to good use. All right, so it's either going to be option A or option B. All right, and I got to wrap things up right this minute. But the fact of the matter is, before I go, all right, I know that I've got a couple of hundred of you here. I don't have a couple of hundred numbers yet. Okay, even with the opportunity just to put a small amount down, some of you, you know what you're saying to yourself, Joe? I like it. I like the market. It makes sense, but I'm a little hung up on the numbers. Right? I like the idea that you guys offer a warranty, that you've been around 23 years, right? But the money part's got me a little hung up. Well, I'll tell you what. All right, I want everybody to have an opportunity to do this. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, if the money part's the only thing that's keeping you, all right, I want to solve that problem. I want to get past that. So here's what we'll do. All right, for the first 10 of you that respond to this, I'm gonna help you solve the money problem, because I got to wait for you to get this for less. All right, actually for a lot less. Well, what do you mean? Well, when I say let's take the money part and pull it off the table, I mean it. All right, because I know that if I can get this program for you for free, that you'd have to get started. All right, there's nobody else today that's going to show you what I showed you as cleanly as I showed you, in a way that makes the most sense, right, and comprehensively. That just is what it is. I know what this is. Okay, and the fact of the matter is, if you want to add this to your arsenal, all right, and you want to do it in a way that you can just kind of breathe easy, well, the best way to do it then is just to take that money part off the table. I got a couple of ways you can get this for free. All right, I got a tuition reimbursement program, I got a referral program, I had a scholarship program. All right, understand something. The power of this is going to rest in your ability to see it and do it. So if the only thing that's hanging up is the money part, I guess I just took your excuse away. But what I need from you is what? I need your number, all right? And I need you to put the word free next to it, so that we can have this conversation, so you can get this and try it out. The only thing I'm going to ask is this, that A, you're serious, B, that you're not going to waste our time, and C, that when you see it works, you tell a couple of friends about it. Is that fair enough? All right, so with that, yep, go ahead and do that, because I'm literally, I got to log off in 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this, right, as a 2-minute situation, 2-minute timer. All right, I'm going to put a 2-minute timer up on the screen. Good, thank you. Some of you are responding to that, and I appreciate it. All right, 2 minutes, go. Option A, you save some money, you get a year of charts. Option B, you get flexibility. All right, you get your foot in the door, the whole thing is right there in front of you. Either way, you get a 60-day warranty. And then the last one, put the word free next to it, all right, and you'll hear all about that too. So one of those is going to work. It's got to. All right, add this to what you're doing. Add this to what you're doing. Okay, because it doesn't take a lot of capital. All right, and when you see the thing that I just showed you continue to work over and over again, that's going to help you. All right, with that, thank you, Investor Inspiration, for having me. All right, I always get a kick out of being able to be here and share this one. All right, this is a lot of fun for me. I know what you're trying to do, gang, and it's the best pursuit in the world. All right, it takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of guts to even think about this stuff, but you're in there, you're doing it. I'm excited for you. I hope this helped you today. I hope you got some good notes and some good takeaways. All right, I'll talk to you again. Appreciate your time.